Hello viewers, welcome to NTA program, Learning on TV. It's an exciting moment where we carry out what we call academic exercise in various subjects. I am Mr. Edward Kase Cole, your computer science teacher, and today we'll be looking at data and information. Data and information, what we're looking at today. Information and communication technology is actually very, very important. And for us to enjoy the benefits that are found in it, we have to understand the basic terms that are found there. And the terms are data and information. This class actually covers the lower primary. If you are not in that category, you can equally join us because no knowledge gain is a waste. All right, what are data then? Data are the unprocessed facts. In information and communication technology, data are said to be unprocessed facts. Yes, they are the unprocessed facts. These are facts that are actually very, very important to the computer operators, but they're not very meaningful to them at this level. So they are unprocessed. Data are said to be inputs into the computer. Data are the input into the computer, and also data are the raw materials. And of course, data are not meaningful to the end users. They're not meaningful to the end users. And of course, the word data actually came from Latin, and it means it's actually plural in function. It's actually plural in function, and the singular form of it, we call it datum. Yeah, the singular form of it is datum, and so there's nothing like datas. There's absolutely nothing like datas. If you maybe in the course of your trying to make the word look like plural, and then you add s to it, you're actually wrong. So there's nothing like data. But this is exactly what we have. As there's nothing like datas, but there's something like data. So we have data and we have datum. Data being the plural form of it, and datum being the singular form of it. And then data is what we're talking about today. They are the unprocessed facts. They are the input into the computer, and they are the raw materials. At the same time, they are not meaningful to the end users. Then, what are the information then? Haven't understood data to be like this. What are the information then? Information simply talks about the processed facts. Where data are unprocessed, information is a processed fact. Let's look at it. It's a processed fact. These ones have been worked on, and so it's not meaningful to the end user. And it's actually the aim of any computer. Somebody wants to do anything in the computer, he has an information that he needs, and this information is what he actually needs to solve his own problem, a specific problem. And so information is a processed fact. Information is actually an output. Information and output from the computer. Information is actually a finished product, or what we call products, finished goods or products from the computer. And then information is actually meaningful. Information is meaningful and useful to the end users. Yes, it's actually meaningful and useful to the end users. This understanding of these terms is very, very important in our information and communication technology. That they are related. Data are input into the computer, while information are the output from the computer, but they work together because data are actually the ones that are used to be transformed into information, which is what an end user actually needs. They need them to make use of what they want. Maybe you want to have a material, for example, write a letter, for example, and there is a letter that you want, type written one. This is your need as an end user. And then you have to bring whatever you might have written as maybe manuscript, for example, and then you will type it, which is coming to the computer as raw, as what we call data in this case. And of course, when you type it and you process and you print it out, you will now have your information there as what is your meaningful to you and useful to you. Before we understand, we'll move on with this. What is computer then? Let's look at computer. Computer is an electronic device that receives data, process them, and gives information to the end users. Yes. Computer is an electronic device that actually receives data, and when it receives data, it processes them and then gives information to the end user. Like I said from the beginning, the end users need information, but they can't get it. They can't get it unless, because what they have at their own disposal are facts, are raw facts, their own processed facts, and so they have to bring them into the computer so they can do the work of processing. And the ones that have been processed, the computer will not release to the end users the information which is what they actually need. All right, having said all of this, what are examples of data and examples of information so that we understand what we're doing today? I hope you are writing with me. What are the examples of data? Examples of data and information. What are the examples of data and information? We'll present it on the tabular form so that we'll look at them as examples, and at the same time we will compare them. All right, having said that, this is how we're looking at data. This is how we're looking at data, and this side we're looking at information. So one of the examples of data are things like this. They can exist like alphabet. They can exist like alphabet. Alphabet says this talked about A, the English letters A, B, C, up to letter Z. These are one of the examples of data, because these are not meaningful to you. These are letters that you have them, but what are they useful? How are they useful to you? They cannot make any meaning to you. But the corresponding examples of alphabet, which are data here in the area of information, is what we call name. You can actually use letters here to write the name of somebody. For example, for the beginning, I introduce myself to you as Mr. Edward Kaseko. Then I can use these letters and then type my name, simple, as Mr. Edward. Mr. Edwards. So Mr. Edwards now have meaning to me. Mr. Edwards now is an example of information, yes, and it has it's not the name of somebody. Whereas we have the letters here, they are raw facts, they don't have any meaning to you. All right, another examples of data is they can exist as numbers. They can exist as numbers. Okay, as numbers we have something like 0, 1, 2, up to 9. So when they have from 0, 1, 2, up to 9, they are serial numbers. How useful are they to you? They don't have any meaning to you. They can't use them for anything. But when you put them to the computer, they can now work with them and they can give you what they call figures. What we call figures. Here there are now figures that you can actually use them. Okay, somebody can tell you how many are Nigerians. Because Nigerians, as of 2020, they have population estimate of 200 million people. So this is now 200 million Nigerians. That we have as a 2020 population estimate. And so, as at this time, this is what we have. So this 200 million is now an information to you. It's a figure and it's an information to you. The other one again that we have is that exists as data is they also exist as symbols. And so as symbols we have things like percentage, things like Nigerian naira, things like American dollar, and a host of others. Maybe something like mathematical sign like plus, minus, division, multiplication sign, division sign, and of course all that. They exist as symbols, but they don't have any meaning to you. But this symbol can be used to give us something meaningful. Maybe you're talking about population of Nigeria, for example, like say before from the figures. Maybe you'll say this population is actually, maybe you say 65% of them are youths. 65% of this population are youth. So if you say 65%, 65% now actually give a meaning to you. So this percentage here they have no meaning because they exist as a data, but now we use it here and become meaningful to us because it is not given a picture of how many Nigerians we have. I hope you are still with me. I hope you are still doing some writing. All right. Today we have been able to look at data and information as a basic concept in information and communication technology. The information we pass today on this program is that data are input into the computer, why information is the output from the computer. That is the major word, the major lesson we have learned in our program today. Before I leave you, I will have a recap of other things I have said here. Then I will give you a home phone that you can work on it and tune in next time to give out the answer that you need to have while you present it on the number display on your TV there. Okay. If you have been with me from the beginning, I was able to prove to you that data and information are the basic concept in information communication technology, and they are very much needed, but they are not the same. They look very close, but they're not the same. And so the end users need information. A computer is there to process the information, and computer is there to give the information to the end user as they need them. Computer is simply an input process and output input process and output system. So we have something like this: input, output, and of course input process, and then the output IPO system. Here you have something like data. Here you have processing, which is turning the data into something useful, and then finally giving us the output here. The output here in terms of output here is now in terms of information. How we will come to the end of our class today, and I'll leave you with this home phone. This is the home phone. Question number 1. What are data? Dash is a processed facts. Do this home phone and submit your answers on the WhatsApp number that you watch displayed on TV. This is a wonderful moment, and today we have come to the end of the class. Thank you very much for spending your time together with us today. It has been an exciting moment. I know you have learned something very useful. Tune in next time for another very wonderful episode. Stay healthy, stay safe at home. Bye-bye.